2, 1.
GrandMommy, what's Piggy, Wiggly, and Squiggly's adventure today?
Ooh, well, today this adventure is taking that cake that they made to Mrs. Farmer Brown. Now, do you remember we talked about this last time, that they had to flour and butter 4 more pans. There's 4 layers, but there's only 3 layers on her cake. They got to keep one of the chocolate ones. And so they had to do all that over again. Then they had to pour the batter into the pans, and then it cooked. Remember that? And Mama Piggy got out her cooling racks, and they put the cake pans on the cooling racks, and then she showed them how to make sure the cake was done by putting the knife in. And so then they sat there and they sat there and they sat there and they waited and waited, and then they frosted them. Remember? That's what we talked about last time. Hi, Kathy. That's about what we did last time. So the next day came, and it was Mrs. Farmer Brown's birthday. Now, nobody knew how old Mrs. Farmer Brown was because she wasn't telling anybody at all. It was her secret. And you know how us ladies do. We don't like to tell anybody our age. It's like, I'm 52. You understand that, folks? Of course, my oldest child is 62, but that's all right. So, anyway. Now they had to put it in a box to put it in Mrs. Piggy, Mommy Piggy's car. They didn't want to walk it over because it was too far, and they were afraid they would trip over a tree root or something, and then, the cake is going to go down the ground, and oh my gracious sakes. So they put it in a box real carefully, and Mommy Piggy had put it on her best glass platter. Oh my gracious sakes, it was an antique platter that her grandmother gave her, and it was beautiful. And so she says, now, boys, we got to be really careful with this plate, this big platter here. So they put it in the box, and then she says, let's put it on the floor in the front seat. Well, okay. Now, you boys, you can sit in the back seat, all 3 of you. There's 3 seat belts in the back seat. And we'll put Little Bad Wolf in the front seat because he's the tallest, and he could put his feet on each side of the box. And that will keep that box from sliding. Well, the little piggies and Little Bad Wolf just thought that was just the greatest thing that they'd ever heard of, that Mommy had thought about these things like that. So off they go down the road, and Mommy Piggy's driving real slow because she doesn't want anything to happen to the cake. And they turned into the driveway of Mrs. Farmer Brown and Mr. Farmer Brown. And there was Sally Skunk and her mommy and her baby sister Sadie. And Sadie Skunk is just a little itty bitty skunk. She's just a little, and she's 2 years old, and she's still that little itty bitty. Well, they were already there, and Allie the alligator's mama just came right behind them. So they all walked in together. Well, they had to knock on the door, of course. And Mr. Farmer Brown, he kind of knew something was happening. So he said, Mrs. Farmer Brown, honey, I'll go get the door for you. She says, oh, Mr. Farmer Brown, darling, thank you so much, because I'm still cleaning up these dishes here. And so he opened the door, and the kids came in, and they started singing, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, Mrs. Farmer Brown, happy birthday to you. Very good. Oh, she turned around with a dish rag in her hand, and she dropped a dish. She was so surprised. My sound effects person is doing real good today, folks. So anyway, she says, Land of Goshen, what's you girls and boys doing here? And you, my mamas too. She says, what you all doing here? And with that, Mommy Pig stood out of the way, and there stands Wiggly with this great big platter in his hands, both of his hands. He was just almost shaking like this because he didn't want to break the platter, I know. Well, thank goodness that Piggly and Squiggly were on each side of him holding on to the platter too. And Little Bad Wolf was standing behind him because he's tall. So he was standing behind him. And the Sadie and Sally were on front of them. And Allie the alligator was standing back with Little Bad Wolf because he's even taller than Little Bad Wolf is. She said, oh my goodness gracious sakes. Farmer Brown, honey, did you see what they have done? And Mr. Farmer Brown says, Mrs. Farmer Brown, darling, isn't that the sweetest thing those boys have ever done for you? And you girls too. And Mrs. Farmer Brown, she smiled. Oh my goodness gracious. She says, and it's got chocolate frosting on it. Oh, that's my favorite. How did you all know it was my favorite frosting? And Piggly says, because it's our favorite frosting too. And Mrs. Farmer Brown says, well, that's really good. So she said, what kind of cake is it? And Little Bad Wolf says, oh, it's a surprise. Wait till you cut into that cake. And Mommy Piggy says, now, the birthday girl does not cut her own cake. Oh, we didn't know that. Allie the alligator says, I didn't know that either. Well, Mama, you always do cut my cake, don't you? You don't let me cut it. But I thought that's because I was a boy and I was kind of sloppy. Oh, well. And Mommy Piggy says, no, you never cut your own birthday cake. So I will cut the cake for Mrs. Farmer Brown. And Mrs. Farmer Brown, you are going to be real surprised when you look at the cake because this is what the boys wanted to do for you. Oh, she says, I can't wait. Can you, Mr. Farmer Brown, honey? He says, Mrs. Farmer Brown, darling, I can't wait either. Well, Mommy Piggy started cutting into the cake, and she pulled out the first piece, and she put it on the plate. And there it was, chocolate, strawberry, and chocolate. Yum, 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 yum. Oh, Mrs. Farmer Brown says, oh, Land of Goshen, just look at that beautiful cake. Why, Mom, you have outdone yourself, children. Now, who made it? And so they told her who made it. They told her that Piggly and Wiggly had made the chocolate and the strawberry. And the other two boys helped make the strawberry, and then they got to frost the top, or the inside, and Little Bad Wolf and Squiggly got to frost the top and all around the corner. And she's looking and she says, oh my gracious, it says happy birthday on the top, and it says for Mrs. Farmer Brown. She says, isn't that absolutely just precious? You boys, I tell you. And Sally Skunk says, well, we brought all of these balloons for you. And with that, she pulled them out from behind her back, her mama's back, and she let go of the string, and they all went all over the house. Oh, Mrs. Farmer Brown says, that's one of my favorite things, to see the balloons all over these parties. Thank you, Sally. And Sally Skunk says, you're welcome. And Sadie Skunk says, you're welcome. And Mommy Skunk says, Sadie, that was very good. You did very good there. I know.
No, I know.
So, Allie the alligator says, well, I got you something too, Mrs. Farmer Brown. And with that, he pulled out a pretty little box, and he had it all wrapped up in pretty paper with roses on it. And he opened up the box, or she opened up the box, and there was two of the most beautiful handkerchiefs she had ever seen. and they had embroidered roses all around the outside edge with a little bit of lace. Oh my gracious sakes. She said, oh, land of Goshen, Allie, I tell you, I just don't know about you. That is the prettiest thing I have ever seen in my life. And you know what I'm going to do with those handkerchiefs? And Allie the alligator got a big grin on his face, and he says, well, I hope you blow your nose with them. And she says, no, I'm not going to blow my nose with these. I'm going to take these for church. I'm only going to put these in my hand or in my Bible for church. I'm not going to use them for any other day except Sunday. They're just so pretty. And Allie the alligator says, oh, that's so nice. I'm so proud. I'm so pleased. And Little Bad Wolf says, well, my birthday present to you, Mrs. Farmer Brown, is help making the cake and the frosting and everything. And she said, that's wonderful, Little Bad Wolf. I'm real proud of you, too. Well, about that time, it was time to go. After they had their cake and their ice cream. Thank goodness Mr. Farmer Brown had went to the store, because he, like I said, he kind of figured that their boys were doing something, because he kind of heard by the grapevine that there might be something going on. Thank goodness he did, because he went to the store and got plenty of ice cream, and you'll never guess what kind of ice cream he got. He got that Neapolitan, that chocolate and vanilla and strawberry ice cream. We're going to have to get some of that ice cream, because I haven't had it for a long time. Well, then they went home, and the next day they decided just to have an easy day and go fishing. And Mommy Piggy always says, now, boys and girls, you go fishing, and if you catch any fish, we'll have them tonight for supper.
Yum.
Yum, yum. No, that's good fishing. Good fish. Just because your mommy don't eat fish. Anyway, I think, boys and girls, that we're going to end it a little bit quick today because of two reasons. We're going to start a new story on Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mother.
Today is Monday.
Today's Monday?
Yes.
Yes, tomorrow's
Aye.
Tomorrow's Tuesday, and then after
Oh,
Tuesday,
the child knows
Wednesday.
more than I do. Anyway, we are going to start a new story Wednesday, yeah. And I also want to say I have found out that I have 3 little girls from their grandmother lives in Valrico that are listening to my stories. And I want to say hi to them. And I have found out that half of my viewers are ancient like I am. And, well, not quite as ancient as me, but, you know, they're on that side of 50. You know who you are.
Oh, come
And
on.
so I want to say thank you very much. And so please tell all your kids and your grandkids and your great-grandkids, and if you got great, go tell them too. Or tell your neighbor kids, because I think it's fun. I know that I'm a little strange sometimes. Don't listen to them. I'm a little strange sometimes, but most of the time it's good, okay? So we want to say goodbye this time. And here's the little lighting chick. Yeah, she's going to say goodbye too. All right, so bye-bye and have a wonderful day.